The Saints go to 3-1 with a dominant victory over Eli Manning and the Giants. Are the Saints' defensive struggles a thing of the past? We'll discuss. Plus, LSU stays unbeaten. Tulane gets a huge upset over Memphis. Southeastern and Nichols get wins too. And the Pelicans' preseason is underway. The Saints end the season's first quarter 3-1 in first place in the NFC South and looking strong. I'm Doug Mouton. Welcome to 4th Down on 4. We wouldn't have expected that after the Bucs opener. So who is your first quarter Saints MVP? We've got three choices alphabetically: Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, or Mike Thomas. Vote now on our mobile app or on our website, wwltv.com/vote. Complimentary football was the buzzword today. Ricardo LeCompte has the story from the Meadowlands.
After 31 touches last week in Atlanta, Alvin Kamara got his number called a bunch Sunday against the Giants. 19 carries for $134, 5 catches for 47 yards, and 3 trips to pay dirt.
He's amazing. He's amazing to watch. His approach to his preparation. I'm a huge fan of the guy.
The last one, a 49-yard scamper that sealed the game.
The O-line handled their business. Fullback Zach Line did what he had to do. Got there, got through, and got a block. And I mean, it was I could have scored that ball with my eyes closed. You know, it was just great by everybody up front blocking and being able to do their job and execute.
Kamara put the Saints up 16 early in the fourth quarter on a drive where the offense converted 4 times on 3rd down. Kamara picked up a first, Michael Thomas caught 2 critical passes to move the chains, and Drew Brees snuck one in for a first down. The Saints' terrific trio came through in the second half, after a first half that saw 4 potential touchdown scoring drives turn into field goals.
I mean, we just stayed on pace. You know, we couldn't get it in the first, but you know, we knew that the plays were coming, the touchdowns were coming. We just stayed the course.
Thomas didn't record his first catch until 1:40 left in the first half. He finished with just 4 catches. This after setting an NFL record with 38 in the first 3 games.
Doubling, bringing pressure. We watched the film last week. They played Houston. They kind of did the same thing with DeAndre Hopkins, and Fuller got open. You know, that's complimentary football. Other guys, we trust them to make plays, and we're here to win games, and that's what we did.
And Drew Brees didn't find the end zone after accounting for 5 just a Sunday ago.
Just, man, narrowly missing some opportunities, I think, in the passing game, too. Second half was a different story. You know, I feel like we found our rhythm.
Brees entered Sunday's game 417 yards away from the NFL's all-time passing yards mark held by Peyton Manning. But Brees didn't pass Manning or even Brett Favre for second place on that list, throwing for only 217 yards. Now, Brees has a chance to break the record on Monday Night Football next week against the Redskins. And number 9 knows all the attention will be centered around him as he approaches a potentially historic night in the Superdome.
I hope it does. Hope it does in front of our fans. It doesn't affect my approach. Just focusing on winning the next game. Just trying not to make a bigger deal out of this than it already is. Just focus on my preparation and my process and let the rest take care of itself.
NOLA's Eli Manning did accomplish some NFL history, moving into 7th place on the NFL all-time passing touchdowns list with his first quarter toss to Sterling Shepard. But after that first drive, the Saints' defense held the Giants' veteran quarterback in check. The Saints limited Manning to just 255 yards passing, a great sign for a secondary that's been giving up a bunch of big plays through the first 3 weeks.
We know what we had to do. We locked in, made sure we executed calls, not giving up explosive plays, and just made sure we played hard.
The front 7 got pressure on Manning, including 2 sacks by linebacker Demario Davis, who was making his return to MetLife Stadium. They also contained Saquon Barkley, the electrifying rookie, with just 44 yards on the ground. The defense also forced 2 fumbles.
I thought we did a good job. Our 3rd down numbers were good. I thought we affected the passer, and all of those things led to the win.
We've got a high vision for us. We've got a high standard, and we're getting closer to setting that bar.
Complimentary football. The Saints achieved that Sunday. And as they finish the first quarter 3-1, they'll continue to push towards that higher standard. In East Rutherford, New Jersey, Ricardo LeCompte, 4th Down on 4.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. The Saints now play the Washington Redskins in 5. All right, thanks, Ricardo. The Saints now play the Washington Redskins next Monday night here in New Orleans. The Skins had a bye this weekend. They are 2-1 on the season. It has a chance to be a really special night for number 9. Unless he gets hurt early in the game, he figures to become the NFL's all-time passing yardage leader in that Monday night game. The top 2 on the list, of course, Peyton Manning and Brett Favre with 217 yards against the Giants. Drew Brees is now just 201 yards short of becoming the numerical GOAT. And look how quickly these numbers fall off. Tom Brady is 4th all-time, Dan Marino 5th, Eli Manning is 6th, and Eli, you see, is 19,000 yards behind the top 3. It should be an historic night in the Superdome Monday night. Let's head back to New Jersey as Ricardo LeCompte got us some post-game analysis.
Okay, Doug, Larry Holder from The Athletic joining me to talk about this Saints win over the Giants. And first, let's just start with Alvin Kamara, the guy who pretty much did it all in this game. He had 31 touches last game, 24 in this contest. Do you feel like maybe the Saints are overusing him, or is it just necessary in what they have to do here in these first 4 games?
I think they just had to use him. And, of course, he's one of the best weapons in the NFL. Even in the locker room, Teron Armstead says he's one of his favorite players he's ever seen, period. And I said, he's only been in the league for a year and 4 games, and he said, yeah, he's that good. And so I think this week, though, you got to see him run the football, and they needed to run the football. I think they needed to slow down the pace, eat up some clock at times, of course, in those final drives where they ate up a ton of clock. And, of course, the backbreaker, the big touchdown run where all he needs is a first down and he takes off, and everyone just kind of looked in awe and like, yep, that's Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, it's great where you can actually hand it off to Kamara. He can actually seal the game away. You saw that the Giants took away Brees. They took away Mike Thomas in this contest. And what does that say about an offense now as we see this offense kind of evolve in this first quarter where your big guns, 2 of your 3 big guns didn't really contribute as much as you like, but you still ended up producing?
Well, that's why the Saints are that good, because they have more than 1 or 2 big guns. We saw it a lot last year. We're starting to see it again this year. And I think the dynamic can even change next week. Once Mark Ingram comes back, it brings another element to the offense. So where if teams want to put 2 guys on Michael Thomas, or if they want to basically have people out floating around in the secondary trying to confuse Brees, that you can go to a different element. And I think you saw Ben Watson with a couple of big catches. I know they want to be better in the red zone, but once they got that going, specifically using the ground game, Kamara getting the handoffs, and even the Taysom Hill element, I feel like they're able to win without having all their big-time players, because someone along the line can become a big-time player.
I'm going to throw Cam Meredith in there as well. He had some big catches coming down the stretch here in this contest. Let's go to the other side of the ball in this defense. And we all were talking about the secondary and how much they struggled here in this first part of the season. They gave the most 40-plus yard passing plays coming into this contest out of any other team in the NFL. They played pretty decent today, but at the same time, I also thought, in my opinion, I thought Eli Manning didn't challenge that secondary enough. What do you think?
I think the secondary played fine. I think they could still be susceptible against other teams, but you got to appreciate the job Marshawn Lattimore did on Odell Beckham Jr. He held him down significantly. We've seen him go big against the Saints before in his rookie year. That was not the case today. Big confidence booster for P.J. Williams to create the fumble. I think that was a big play. Obviously, Sean Payton has been harping on trying to create fumbles. And I do think that they're still susceptible. I'm not going to say, oh, wow, they've arrived, because I'm just not going to go there yet. But I think they absolutely played better than what we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, still in the work of progress. But, hey, they did play better, like you said, in this contest. All right, so they're 3-1 out of this first quarter of the season. I think the Saints have to feel pretty good, despite all the problems that we talk about. I mean, they seem like they're one of these elite teams in the league. What do you think?
Yeah, I assume they'd be 3-1. Forget the route; they're 3-1, so that's obviously a plus. And I think they played their best game tonight. There's no doubt about that. Can they play better? Yes, but the fact that you're 3-1, you've seen some surprises in the NFL. The Saints, after being stunned in Week 1, they're the team that many people expected them to be, and I feel like, look, they can continue this ride going forward.
Yeah, and they've got Washington coming up Monday night. Larry, appreciate it. Doug, we'll send it back to you.
Coming up, Ed Ogeron's Tigers are an amazing 5-0 after LSU's dismantling of Ole Miss. And this time, the offense did its damage through the air. Plus, Tulane gets its biggest win in years as it crushes a 2-touchdown favorite in Memphis. And both Southeastern and Nichols notch victories as well. And later, we'll check in on the Pelicans, who started their preseason tonight.
4th Down on 4 is sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Gulf Coast. Forget Vegas. You've got home field advantage.
Saturday, LSU plays at Florida. It'll be their second CBS SEC game of the week, so you can see it here on Channel 4 Saturday afternoon at 2:30. We will have an Eye on the Tigers post-game show. Join me and Mike Detillier from 6 to 7. LSU is 5th in the new AP poll. The Gators jumped into the rankings this week at number 22. The Tigers are coming off an unbelievably good performance Saturday night. They dominated Ole Miss in the first half, and really, it was over by halftime. LSU is 5-0 with a quarterback who's quickly getting better, as Andrew Doak reports.
He's matched up on DK Metcalf. On just the second play of the game, LSU had a message to send, and it was received by Ole Miss, loud and clear. Intercepted, let's see if he was in bounds.
They try to come in, disrespect us. We know we got to do the spread teams, we got to shut them down. So, they were talking that talk, so we had to go out there and show them what we were about.
Grant Delpit's interception of Ole Miss quarterback Jordan Ta'amu set the tone for the rest of the game, and it wasn't by luck. It was exactly what the tape told them would happen.
We just knew that on the first drive they were going to take a lot of shots, probably take 1 or 2. We saw when they did that against Alabama a couple weeks ago, and just knowing they're going to take a shot, just reading quarterback guys, I think it was a big play.
The play didn't lead to points, but that wasn't the point. What was is that the Tigers weren't going to allow anything easy. Ole Miss entered the contest with the 10th best passing offense in college football, but the Tigers didn't allow the Rebs to look anything like it on Saturday night.
Just throw it away.
LSU clogged up passing lanes. They held Ta'amu to complete just 50% of his passes and 178 through the air, when his normal average was 340.
It's one of the games, you got to step up and be a great defensive back. So, those top guys they got over there, we knew it was going to be a challenge. So we just came in, worked hard the whole week and got prepared for them.
The Tigers held in check two of the best wide receivers in America, and A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, likely players that will go on to be first-round picks.
Metcalf in and out of his hands.
And while the defense delivered, the LSU offense had a breakout game. This 21-yard pitch and catch from Joe Burrow to Rummel's Jamar Chase was the first in a string of 3 straight LSU scoring drives.
Starting to get a feel of each other, offensive line, receivers, me, running backs. Like I told you guys a couple weeks ago, I think the offense is getting ready to take off. I thought we took a stride tonight.
And they did it in a much more vertical manner. Burrow finished with 292 yards passing, which is the most of his 5-game career at LSU. He also had 3 passing scores. 2 of them were for more than 20 yards. And 2 of them also went to Destrehan's Justin Jefferson, including this 65-yard connection for 6. Jefferson ended up just 1 yard shy of a 100-yard night and earned LSU a commanding 28-3 lead. 65 yards.
That's kind of our running joke. He always gets 97, 99, can't get 100, but he's a go-to guy for me. He plays really well.
Every receiver is going to get their chance to, score or make that big play. So George just giving us opportunities.
Although it was a surprise that Burrow did it on the ground as well. He finished as the Tigers' leading rusher with 96 yards on 9 carries. And his most impressive scoot came on this zone read keeper, where he took a shot but beat Ole Miss to the pylon, and it was worth the lick.
Joe is funny. He's really a funny guy. And he said he ain't sliding, so I guess he getting them extra yards by not sliding.
We play against running quarterbacks, and it's tough. It's like defending 12 men, especially on those quarterback draws. And those read options, I don't think they were expecting him to run the football in the read option now. We've got to be careful because we don't want him to get hurt.
The LSU offense showed great balance on Saturday. They threw for 292 yards and they ran for 281 more. Even more impressive is that they've done it with an offensive line that's been playing musical chairs, as the Tigers have used a different O-line combination in every game this season.
They've done a great job responding to adversity. I don't think we've had the same combination of 5 in any game yet. And, Coach always says next man up, and that's what they did tonight.
And just as the offensive line has not minded where they've been put so far this year, neither have the Tigers when it comes to what people had expected of them before the season.
I wouldn't say that there's more satisfaction in just going 5-0 without people doubting us. Whenever you're 5-0, you can't complain, but we still have a lot of room to get better.
Andrew Doak, 4th Down on 4.
All right, good stuff, Andrew. Tulane, meanwhile, got a major win. The Green Wave had lost their last 11 straight to Memphis until Friday night, and Tulane hopes their conference opening win is a sign of things to come.
Straight ahead. Oh, it's going to be a first down, and it's going to be 6 points.
Here's how Tulane's Friday night went. Midway through the fourth quarter against Memphis, Darius Bradwell explodes through a huge hole. That put the Green Wave up by 26.
Walking in.
After a 4-game lackluster start, the Wave knew what this one meant.
It was a very big win. Throughout the week, I'm just walking around like this is a win or go home situation. We got to play like win or go home.
But suddenly, Tulane's season has new life. They ran the ball for 318 yards against Memphis. Bradwell and Corey Dauphine combined for 240 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Green Wave dominated up front.
The way our offense set up, we could dominate games like this. And, we still made some mistakes, but we still getting better each week, so I'm just happy about that.
We didn't get behind the chains much, and that's been a bugaboo for us the first few weeks where we've gotten second and long, third and long, and those are tough to convert, particularly with the style of play that we have.
The running game was a positive, but maybe the biggest thing was the pass rush. Tulane sacked Memphis quarterback Brady White 7 times.
The package that the defensive coaches came up with that I think gave him a few problems, particularly on the inside.
And when starting quarterback Jonathan Banks cramped up, LSU transfer Justin McMillan came in and did this.
25, Mooney in a foot race.
We worked on that play after practice a lot, the out route, and he hit me right on the spot. I didn't think I was that wide open, but when I turned around, I was like, oh yeah.
McMillan played the entire fourth quarter, but all he did was hand the ball off. The Green Wave had done enough, offensively and defensively, to win their conference opener.
Happy with it. It was a complete and total team win. Defense played extremely well.
And there's plenty to build on. Again, the Green Wave season has new life at 2-3, heading to Cincinnati next Saturday. And it was also a big weekend for both Southeastern and Nichols. They both won at home. They're both now 2-1 in the Southland Conference, and both the Lions and the Colonels got breakout performances in their wins.
You got to go.
The Colonels' breakout performance came from running back Julian Gums. Watch this. Late second quarter, Gums busts it 68 yards. He ran for 152 on the afternoon. He was De La Salle's quarterback last year, and the true freshman was huge Saturday. It was still a game in the third quarter, though. Then Chase Forcade hit St. James Wildcat Dantes Costley. That hookup to the freshman from Vacherie, 36 yards for the score. The Colonels led by 21 after 3, and then Forcade puts it away with the nifty keeper in the fourth. Nichols beats Lamar 50-27. The Colonels were ranked 15th in the nation last week. They could move up Monday.
Strawberry capital.
Meanwhile, Southeastern handled Northwestern State in Hammond. It was a breakout game for wide receiver Austin Mitchell. This is the second play of the game. Chasen Virgil throws it up, and Mitchell runs under it. A terrific adjustment. It goes for a 76-yard touchdown, 7-3 Lions after 1. Second quarter, Demons punting, and watch Mitchell. He's a redshirt sophomore from Plaquemine High School near Baton Rouge. Mitchell breaks the punt. He steps out of bounds at the Northwestern State 8. The Lions scored 2 plays later. They led 14-3, and then later in the second, Virgil over the top to Mitchell. Austin Mitchell, 224 all-purpose yards, and the Lions win 24-17. Still ahead, the Pelicans preseason gets underway. Alvin Gentry says his team plans to run even more than they did last season. That story when we come back. The Pelicans preseason opener Sunday night in Chicago. Here are the key new pieces. Elfrid Payton to Julius Randle for the layup. The Pelicans led by 6 after 3 quarters. Chicago's backups beat New Orleans backups in the 4th. So the Bulls won by 12, but get used to speed. Alvin Gentry said this week he wants his team, which operated at a blistering pace last season, to be faster this season. Last season, no NBA team ran a faster offense than the Pelicans. They led the NBA in pace in the regular season, then actually went a little faster in the postseason, leading the NBA again. And Alvin Gentry says he believes they can turn it up another notch.
Asking the guys to run on every possession.
I don't know if you think we like some track stars or something, but
the really good running teams are the teams that run when you think there's not anything there.
If somebody gets tired from sprinting all the time, you can come and get a two minute break and then go back in and start sprinting again.
And you create something by just the pace that you play at.
It's going to be fun. It's kind of what we did in that Portland series. You know, we just played fast and were able to make shots. So we're looking forward to doing the same thing, but according to Alvin, even faster.
Even faster. We're now 20% through the preseason. The Pelicans play Monday in Atlanta, Friday in New York against the Knicks, and then Wednesday in Miami next week. They do have one home preseason game. It's next Thursday against the Raptors. We're back with more 4th Down on 4 in a minute. Not a surprise, Saints fans say Alvin Kamara is the first quarter MVP. He's been unbelievable. And by the time the Saints play next Monday night against Washington, they will have Mark Ingram back. So Kamara won't have to carry such a large share of the load. For producer Danny Rockwell, photographer Adam Ney, Ricardo LeComte, and Andrew Doak, I'm Doug Mouton. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on 4th Down on 4.
4th Down on 4 has been sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Gulf Coast. Forget Vegas. You've got home field advantage.